What's up, y'all? And I know, this is the second week of the NFL playoffs, and I did miss my prediction video for last week. And that's because I had a very busy week last week. But I kind of wish I did do a prediction video because I actually would have got everything right, but won. Like the only game I got wrong was I had the Rams beating the Lions, and the Lions won that game, which is not surprising. But I did pick the Rams. I thought the Rams were going to be my Cinderella type team, but I was wrong. So good thing we don't have me on video saying that. But anyway, let's talk about this divisional round because I think we're in for a very, very entertaining weekend of football. And if we're being honest, the divisional round of the playoffs is probably the most fun round. I know it's not the most important because you literally do have conference championship weekend and Super Bowl weekend, but it's like we're at the point now where every team here is good. If they made it to this point in the season, you are one of the better teams in the league. So we're going to be in for some good games. And it's not just two games or one game, it's four games. We get two games a day, which is perfect because even on a normal NFL Sunday, you could really only watch in total two games. Like you can't most people, the average person wasn't watching all 16 games. But so I think we're in for a really, really fun weekend. And as usual, I'm gonna go in chronological order when I'm picking these games because I kind of have to. Or no, it just makes sense for me to go in chronological order. The first game of the weekend, which may be the most entertaining game, is the Texans going to the Ravens. And me personally, when it comes to this game, I don't think it will be as high scoring as a lot of people think. Because I think a lot of people see Lamar Jackson, they see CJ Stroud, and they assume a lot of points are going to be scored. And I don't think that's the case because while both of these quarterbacks are really good, where you literally have the MVP on one side and the offensive rookie of the year on another side, who is also an MVP candidate in his own right, you assume points. But I think we're more likely to see a game that doesn't necessarily hit 30 because both these defenses are really good. I mean, when the Ravens and Texans played week one, I know that was a long time ago, the Texans did a very good job playing Lamar when they matched up. And I know a lot changes from week one because both these teams are very different. I think I want to see a much closer game than week one because I know the score was low scoring, but the Ravens, for the most part, dominated that game. But I don't, while I do have the Ravens winning, I think it'll be a lot closer than that game. Mainly because this Texans defense is really good. And like I said, they play Lamar very well. And yes, Lamar has gotten a lot better since that moment. And honestly, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So it's going to be very hard to hold him to a game where he throws a pick and doesn't score a touchdown. I think they forced like two turnovers off him. I know he fumbled twice, only one of those was lost. And I know he had an interception in that game. While I think they'll be able to, like, not slow Lamar down, but be able to, I mean, yeah, slow him down at certain points, they won't be able to do that again. Lamar's going to have a few touchdowns. That's just how good he is. And I think he knows what time it is. For him and for the Ravens, it's their year. This is the year for the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. The whole league is shaping up for it to be like their time. They've been waiting on this for a minute. And Super Bowl windows are not normally open this long, and they are lucky that they're such a good organization and have one of the top three quarterbacks in this league. Top two, in my opinion. Now, how can the Texans win this game? It's simple. Can CJ Stroud weather the storm? CJ Stroud is about to play one of the best defenses in the league. I know last week we said that same thing when he played the Browns, and honestly, that was another game I was wrong about. I did think the Browns were going to win, but and he looked amazing. He looked spectacular. And it's not just him. They have some really, really good weapons. You know, you have Nico Collins, who's having a breakout year. You have Dalton Schultz, who's really the quintessential tight end you want to have when you have a rookie quarterback. You have their tight end number two in Brevin Jordan, who I've liked since the moment he got drafted out of Miami because he was in that Kyle Pitts draft class where me personally, I was making the debate where it's like, yeah, Kyle Pitts is great, but I don't think Brevin Jordan is too far behind. Now, in reality, he is, but he's still a really nice weapon. And they still have Robert Woods, and they still have Devin Singletary, who's playing really, really good football, especially down the stretch. And even after Devin Singletary in that running back room, you had Damon Pierce. So it's like they have weapons. This coaching staff has put CJ Stroud in amazing positions, and he has just capitalized off those to the fullest extent. And his offensive line is really good. But this Ravens defense is just really good. And CJ is going to have to play the game of his life for them to even have a chance. He would have to play the game of his life, even if this defense was subpar, because Jackson is on the other side. But this defense is so good. They're going to send a lot of pressure his way and make it look like a lot of different things, and nothing will be what it seems. They're going to throw everything at CJ and see what he can do. And while I think CJ is a great rookie quarterback and maybe one of the best we've seen all time, at the end of the day, he's still a rookie, and this is still playoff football. So I expect him to not nosedive, but at times look like a rookie against this Ravens defense that is extremely, extremely talented and very well coached. Now, as of right now, it's looking like they won't have Marlon Humphrey, which is a big loss given he is their best corner. And in my opinion, their second best DB. Kyle Hamilton's their best. He's the best safety in the league right now. Yes, that could impact this game and help the Texans, but with how well coached the Ravens are defensively and how well their offense has been clicking, especially down the stretch, I don't see this bye week affecting the Ravens. And I don't think so. This will be like when the Titans went to the Ravens. I know a lot of people are comparing it to them, and I love how much people are loving the Texans. It's just not their time yet. I'm very happy they got to this point. They weren't supposed to be here, and I expect a good game, but the Ravens will win this football game. I'm very confident in that. Next up, that Saturday night, we have another spectacular game. This one coming out the NFC with the Packers going to the 49ers, which at this point really feels like a rivalry. You know, in my lifetime, especially these past 5 years, it feels like almost every other year we see a Packers and 49ers matchup in the playoffs. And 9 times out of 10, the 49ers win that game. And I see that happening again. And while I do see the 49ers winning, I still think this will be a really good game because the Packers are a team that when you really look at them, they are built for the playoffs. I mean, you have a quarterback in Jordan Love who is hot right now, like steaming hot with how he played last week in Dallas. They have a really good run game with why am I forgetting his name? Aaron Jones, who is one of the more underrated players in the league, not just backs. He's been consistent for so long. They have a very slept-on receiving core, and Matt LaFleur just has the perfect offense he wants, and he is dialing it up, and that defense is really good. But ultimately, this game comes down to which team can run the ball the best. I believe whoever has the most rushing yards will win this football game, mainly because from the Packers' standpoint, a lot of what they do is based off the run game. Yes, they will throw the ball 30-plus times, but it's based off how they can trick you with play action and motion. A lot of that comes from them being able to run the ball well. So if Aaron Jones is able to get in a groove early and they're able to rip off 4 to 5 yards a carry, I expect this offense to have a really good day with play action, with movement, getting those really, really good linebackers and DBs cheating up, worried about the play actions, worried about the motions, and then somebody sneaking past you deep. Now, from the 49ers perspective, Christian McCaffrey is simply one of the best players in football. And if he has a good day, it's very hard to stop this 49ers offense, which already has a lot of weapons. Like, if Christian McCaffrey is able to run for over 100 yards, I think there's only one team as currently constructed in the league that can beat them, and that team already has this season, and we all know who that is. Now, for the Packers to win this game, even without rushing the 49ers, Jordan Love needs to play a clean game. You can't give the 49ers more chances to take time off the clock, and you have to give your defense a rest. Because when playing this 49ers offense, your defense needs all the rest it can get and all the chances to kind of just take a second and think about what they're doing. Because when you're playing the 49ers, it comes from everywhere. Yes, Christian McCaffrey is their best player and one of the best players in the league, but they have a lot of other weapons. You know, you have Brandon Ayuk, you have Deebo Samuel, you have George Kittle. It can come from a lot of different places, and you want to give them less time with the ball in their hands and your defense just some rest. Because the 49ers are fine when dinking and dunking and going on 12 to 15 play drives, which is really bad for your defense because that wears them out. And you don't want to have them just get off the field after a 12 to 15 play drive and then you throw a pick and you get a 3 and out. And then it's like now the 49ers are probably going to score on every single drive after that because your defense is tired and the 49ers know exactly how they're going to dissect you. So I do pick the Niners, but for the Packers to win, Jordan Love needs to play a clean game. Now to the Sunday slate of games. The Bucks at the Lions. I know a lot of people really don't care much about this game because this is out of all the games, this is like the least interesting, but I think it's also the most interesting because what the hell is this? Like if I would have told you the Bucks were playing at the Lions in the playoffs this year, you would have been like, I can see the Lions playing a home playoff game. But the Bucks being in the playoffs, yes, they're here. After just beating the defending NFC champions in a game where they dominated them for the most part. And like my biggest thing about this game is, are you ready for the Lions to have a chance to play for the Super Bowl? And are you ready for a possibility of the NFC North having a NFC Championship game? I know I picked the Niners, but what if the Packers and the Lions win? That's beautiful for football. Just me personally. Now, my biggest questions about this game is I'm gonna pick the Lions. I think the Lions are the far better team. When these teams played earlier in the season, they won 20-6 in Tampa in a game where they were barely able to run the ball, and Jared Goff threw the ball over the field. And I think Amon-Ra St. Brown had over 119 yards receiving. I look at this game from the Bucks' perspective is, can you have a repeat of Wild Card Weekend? Can Baker Mayfield do what he did? Because Baker Mayfield has been balling. Like I'm one of those people. Like I saw a bunch of people saying, "What if the Browns would have kept Baker Mayfield?" Let's not do that. Baker Mayfield found a really good spot for him, the perfect team that needed exactly what he brings, which is energy and life at the quarterback position to an already very talented team. Can he do this again? And the Lions' defense is actually really good. Like at the beginning of the season, you had a lot of questions about how good this defense was. Then they, saw some injuries, and then it was like, is this defense really even that good? And they're good. They've been balling. And can Baker Mayfield do what he needs to do to win this game? Because Baker's gonna have to do that. Baker's gonna have to throw for 2 touchdowns and no picks. You're gonna have to keep the ball out of this Detroit Lions offense, which at times can get red hot. Now for the Lions. Can Jared Goff handle the pressure? Jared Goff, historically, like over his whole career, has never been a quarterback that's been good against the pressure. Good against, the blitz. Good when you can get, a hand on them, get people in the backfield. The Buccaneers are coming off of a week where they were sending so much pressure at Jalen Hurts, and it was working. Now, that was mainly working because the Eagles were a terribly coached team last week, especially offensively. They did nothing to help Jalen Hurts against the blitz. And I think the Lions are a much better coached team and will have answers and responses to the Buccaneers, doing zero blitzes. Now, you can have all the responses as a coaching staff in the world. Can your player execute? Will Jared Goff be able to look blitzes in their eyes and throw right behind them to what should be an open drag route, open slant route, open crosser, open flat? Will he look like Jared Goff for the pass, or will he look like the Detroit Lions Jared Goff, which has been looking like a top 10, maybe even borderline top 5 quarterback in this league? So I do pick the Lions. I think they will win this game, but the Bucks have a chance. It's all up to really, like always, quarterback play and what type of Jared Goff we'll see, and will Baker Mayfield look like the Baker Mayfield that was swinging the flag for Oklahoma and planting it in Ohio State's logo, or will he look like what he looked like at times with the Cleveland Browns, which is why you here, big dog? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I got the Lions. Next up is the most important game of the weekend. Whoever wins this game, the craziest narratives are going to come out of this Chiefs and Bills game. Like, I don't know if we're prepared for that. If the Chiefs win, it's what's next for the Bills? Do you blow it up? Is Josh Allen really that dude? Blah, 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 blah. If the Bills win, it's they finally get over the hump. Is Josh Allen better than Mahomes? What's wrong with Kansas City? What do they need to do this offseason? I think a lot like the other AFC game, which features 2 really good quarterbacks, this one is a better quarterback matchup because it's Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and we know what these 2 dudes do when they play each other. It's fun, but we're in for a defensive battle. I mean, the Chiefs' offense isn't as good as past years, and this Bills' offense, while last week Josh Allen was throwing the ball a lot, he had the 3 passing touchdowns, that long 50-yard rushing touchdown. They've been running the ball a lot more, which I love, feeding James Cook. Like, he was over 1,000-yard rusher during the season. But it will be a defensive battle because these two defenses are really good. This is the best defense Patrick Mahomes has had in his entire career, and it's a shame that he doesn't have any weapons to work with. I mean, we saw last week where they just like I know it was a cold game, but they made Tua look terrible. Is that alliteration? I don't know. But to me, this game comes down to which quarterback will make the most mistakes or make the first mistake. Which quarterback will blink first? And I think that's Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen is good for at least 2 to 3 blinks a game, which, and by blinks, I mean, what the are you doing type plays. Like, I'm just going to throw this up in triple coverage and pray for the best. I'm just going to throw this pass while not even looking. And yes, Patrick Mahomes can be victim to that too, but he's been playing a lot cleaner. Now, I would not be surprised if the Bills win this game. I'm just going to choose the Chiefs because I'm scared to choose against Jordan in a game like this. I know this is his first time in the playoffs going away from Arrowhead, which I think will play a factor because somebody this year, for the first time, had to like go on the road and play football games. I understand the difference. I understand it. But the Chiefs are the type of team, the type of organization where they're built for this thing. They are built for these long Super Bowl windows. They are professionals. They know what they're doing. They expect to win this game, and I believe they will. Now, I do have a few questions about this game. It's like, will Rashid Rice be able to do what he did last week? Because Travis Kelce is not the Travis Kelce of old, and Mahomes needs a number one. And if Rashid Rice can do what he did last week, then I'm really excited about how this Chiefs offense could look in this game, which is going to have surprisingly much more favorable weather than the game last week in Arrowhead. And for the Bills, what will James Cook be able to do? This Chiefs defense is really, really good. And they are able to get after the quarterback, and their secondary is really, really nice. Like L'Jarius Sneed is one of the best corners in the league, and is having a stellar season. I'm so happy he made an All-Pro team. Now I do wish he would have made a Pro Bowl team, but the All-Pro team, of course, is much more better. It's much more prestigious. But what will James Cook be able to do off the ground? Will he be able to take enough pressure off of Josh Allen so Josh Allen doesn't feel like he has to go Superman? So yeah, a very, very close and competitive game, but I have the Chiefs winning. Every single one of these games I could see going either ways, mainly because we're at the part of the season where every team is good. So is it really an upset? I mean, yes, it's an upset, but it's like both teams expect to win in all these matchups. So it's not too crazy to say that we may get a Bucks and Packers, which would be crazy, NFC Championship game. Like, that would be insane. While I like chaos, I don't know if I want all that. But yeah, so my final predictions is we're going to get the Chiefs going to Baltimore for the AFC Championship game, and we're going to get the Lions going to San Francisco for the NFC Championship game. I think we're for the good weekend of football, Pray for the best, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Yeah. But anyway, remember to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and let me know down in the comments who you think will win these games. What are the X factors? What do you foresee happening, And, I love y'all like always,